Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, the last half an hour of trade, and we are now near the low point of the day, 24,603, 322 points of a cut on the Nifty. Remember, yesterday the Nifty had shot up about 900 points. We have slipped about 300 points from that level, 320 points now. 1.3% of a cut that is being seen. It's panned out to be an extremely choppy trading session with lower lows being seen through the course of the day, and now we are at the verge of risking 24,600 being taken out as well. If we look at the markets, IT sector is in pain, 2.3% lower. FMCG is down 1.3%. Infra, financial services, even the private banks are down by about 1% almost each. And we are also seeing oil and gas, realty, consumer durables under pressure. Broader markets continue to buck the trend, outperforming the frontline indices, with green being seen, both of them, on especially small caps, that's up 0.7%. Pharma and PSU banks are the outliers among sectors, and those are the ones that are bucking the trend yet again, with 1.6% of a rally being seen on PSU banks and the pharma holding up over 1% as well. On the Nifty, you have Bharat Electronics 3.9% higher, and not just BEL, the entire defense space seems to be in the thickest of action. HAL, BEL, BDL for that matter. Look at the shipbuilder names across the board. You are seeing a lot of momentum, and the Nifty defense index is continuously holding on despite the crack that you are seeing in the markets. Now we have slipped below 24,580 at this point in time. 4% and thereabouts. It's been continuously holding on. So we'll be focusing on defense space again today. Motocorp, Jio Financial, Dr. Reddy's are some of the other top movers on the Nifty. While on the laggard front, IT back. Infosys cracking 3.4% lower. HCL Tech, TCS 3% down. Eternal Power Grid and even names like Trent and IndusInd Bank that are down in the red. Let's welcome our guest on board, Brijesh Ale, Head of Technicals and Derivatives at Retail Research, IDBI Capital Markets and Securities, joins in. Welcome, Brijesh. Good to have you with us. Could you highlight for us about the swift downtick that we are seeing in the trade today? 350 points of a cut right now on the Nifty. We've now given up 24,600 as well. What is the key reason for this sharp fall after yesterday's big rally that we saw unfold?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, Sakshi. So basically what we saw yesterday was the kind of a good, very strong short covering in the market. Eventually on the day of Friday, there was a very strong dip. And with the India-Pakistan tension getting a little bit of ease off, the market cheered, and the way the market bounced was a very strong short covering that came from the level of 24,500. So today specifically, this 350 points is much of a breather of yesterday's rally. And we are still holding about 24,500 levels. So my understanding is that as long as we are about 24,500, we are in the uptrend. And with yesterday's move, I am of the opinion that we should be heading for 25,500. So that's the directional view for the week. And I think sooner or later, we should be heading higher. And now, since we have already corrected 350 points, maybe another 30-40 points on the lower side, the market should find support. And I believe 24,500. That should be the demand zone. That is not likely to be broken, is what my view is as of now.
So on the lower end, you're looking at 23,500 as a key support.
24,500.
24,500 as the key support. Okay. And you do believe that there could be a recovery at this point in time going forward from here. Today it's just a reaction right after that sharp rally that we saw unfold. But things are likely to go better over the next couple of days is what is being believed. So this is largely, can we attribute this to profit booking or so in today's fall that we are seeing right now?
Technically, we say this as a breather. So this is not exactly a profit booking. It's just a inside day body candle. So it's just a relief of what we saw yesterday. So it's just a breather kind of a structure. Profit booking will come when we see a rally toward 25,000, 25,200.
Okay, got that. When we look at some of the other factors that are behind, somehow this kind of nervousness coming in, one can also look at, that there are some easing of tensions on the tariff front between US and China. But at the same time, there are some fresh concerns of retaliatory tariffs that India is putting on US products and how that could continue as far as the tariff talk is concerned between both US and India now. So while things are improving between US and China, the question question is, will we continue to be on a negotiatory positive talk front as far as the US and India is concerned? So that's something that you could look at. Apart from this, we are also seeing some uptick in the crude oil prices. That's also a reason why markets are again seeing some pressure build up. Apart from this, we are also seeing some decline in the heavyweight counters, banks, IT, which are leading to this fall in today's trading session. So those are some of the key factors why you are seeing some dip. But Brijesh, let me ask you on the key space which is outperforming, defense clearly. How are you looking at names like HAL, BEL? There has been a consistent improvement from the recent lows, and now after the last 1 month of a rally, would you still be a big buyer here? Why am I asking you this is because there is a increasing optimism on the defense space, looking at what we have just witnessed back home on the geopolitical tensions between India and US, and how looking at what there could be in future, India's focus will be on probably increasing defense orders, and we've seen Prime Minister Narendra Modi talk about Make in India equipments also being big on it. So what do you think should one's approach be on such stocks now?
So I take this from the technical point of view. So the subject is like a few months before the defense and the railway pack. These were the stocks counters which were correcting quite a sharp lower, and many of the people have got stuck in this space. So what we are advising as of now, now since we have seen a good amount of rally, there has been a strong recovery in this space. Uh, we are going to ride this momentum, but then we are not going to take any fresh bets. So somebody who already having a position should do some partial profit booking and then should ride the trend, because since the sector is moving right now, there is most likely that at least for the series of May, that momentum will be there. So partial profit booking and then to write the balance quantity is what the strategy is. We are not recommending to add any fresh longs at this level. So there won't be any fresh bets. But having a position, please try to take some profits and write the partial position and then write the momentum. But then fresh buying is not advisable at this point.
Okay. Well, if I also have to ask you on some of the pockets that are again outperforming in a day like today, banks and pharma, especially PSU banks and pharma, those are the pockets that are outperforming. So let's focus on this. PSU banks up by about 1.5% in trade, and the key stocks that are performing today, Can Bank, PSB, Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, Union Bank, PNB, all of these are actually upward bound. Let's also look at the pharma index of now. Looking at what is happening on the pharma space, you have Ajanta, Granules, Glenmark, Ipca Laboratories, Divi's Labs, Alchem, Zydus, all of them in thick action. So let's focus on these two pockets. First up, your fresh approach on the PSU banking story right now, Brijesh?
I think PSU banks are looking strong. So definitely there's an opportunity when like today when the market are corrected, this is one sector which is holding up. And as you rightly said, the Canada Bank is something which is still looking very strong. From the current level of this 104, we can still talk of another 10-15% from the current level. So Canada Bank, maybe if there is a small correction close to 100, it's a beautiful opportunity. I think 115, 120 can be seen in Canada Bank. After Canara Bank, what we are liking is the Union Bank. So Union Bank is one stock which is again given a very strong breakout. I think this breakout should sustain for the current weekend. From the level of this 130, we can speak of 145, 150. So definitely there is opportunity. And lastly, Bank of Baroda is something which is coming in the picture. So recently the Bank of Baroda, there was a very sharp decline from the level of 250, and now suddenly there is a good recovery is there. So our understanding is that this stock can go back to 250 level. So that's a kind of a trading opportunity. So Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, and Union Bank. These are the three stocks which we are betting on.
And what about pharma space? Would you be, confident of purchasing a fresh on the pharma space at the current levels? What do you think is the key reason behind the fresh wave, and will this sustain more importantly?
That is very difficult to say because I am also not very sure. Very stock specific like Lupin and Dr. Reddy. These are the two stocks which we are betting for. Like the structure for the Lupin and Dr. Reddy from the multi time frame, from the larger time frame is positive. So, for example, if this sector has to perform, then Lupin and Dr. Reddy, which is the heavyweights, I think the move will be seen in this place.
Okay, so that's the pharma pack. Today, there's also move on the small and the mid cap space as well. Vis-a-vis the front lines, it's the mid and the small caps where the action lies. I mean, names like Afcons Infra, Keynes Tech, Reddington, Sagility, First Solutions, mid cap IT names largely, specialized IT focused companies. Then you also have names like, say, Swan Energy, maybe a Godfrey Phillips, Data Patterns, CDSL, Newgen Software. A lot of these mid-cap IT names are also actually pulling up in trades, and small and mid-cap seem to be the focus. What would your choice be here?
So from that specifically, what we have one is the FSL first source solution. That is something which is looking good from the technical point of view. So from the level of 360, I think we can play another 30-40 points in the FSL. GSPL is also one stock which has given a very strong breakout in this space. So Gujarat State Petronet. So I think the opportunity is also there in the GSPL. Data pattern we are liking, but then close to 2500, some profit booking can be seen. If that level is taken up, then I think the further upside momentum will be there. And lastly, the Swan Energy has given a very fresh breakout. Today is the first day where the stock has moved out of the range. So the bigger move can be seen in this Swan Energy. So that should be kept on your watch list. Lastly, SW Solar, which is still in the range. Looking at the chart pattern, I believe maybe this week, if this sector continues, then SW Solar can also be kept on the watch list.
Okay, got that. Let's also focus on some other interesting names. Okay, CDSL is the one that's coming up on my radar in the FNO space. That's one that's really rallying in trade. Is this, only related to CDSL, or is there a move that you expect across the board on the brokerage houses and capital markets related stories? BSE has been constantly performing very well as well. How are you approaching this space?
No, I think there's opportunities there because this sector is moving. CDSL is just started. So CDSL, we are betting 1450 level, and the BAC, which is already rallied. We are the way I spoke for the defense was very specifically for the BAC. So partial profit booking is advisable because the people who went long are have I believe they have made a very decent profits in BAC. So some profit booking is likely to be seen, and then the continuation of the trend will be there. So partial profit booking in the BSC and fresh opportunity is there in the CDSL.
Okay, got that. That's the view that's coming in on the space. Let me also just highlight for all our viewers some of the other pockets that are doing very well in trade despite all the concern that we are looking at. At this point in time, we are also looking at names. Within, say, defense again, Idea Forge about 11% higher. That's how some of the moves are actually coming in the broadest index, Nifty 500. You also have names like, say, Dynamic Cables, 20% circuit. You have Tanla Platforms, 13.5% higher. K Ratings is up by 13%. Nelcast is up 12%. Bharat Dynamics is up definitely. Magad Sugar is also up from the sugar space. Allied Blenders and distilleries are also up in trade. TD Power Systems is another one. Aarti Surfactants, very strong surge that is being seen. Anything within the names that I took that catches your attention, Brijesh, here?
Uh, Actually, I was not tracking that, but then the few stocks
Okay.
which we do like is like Kalyani Jewelers has given a very strong breakout.
Yes,
So that
yes.
can be one of the watch list where the momentum can be there. Ramco Cement is something which is going to pop out. So I think that momentum can be seen in the Ramco Cement. And to some extent, I do believe this Glenmark Pharma is also looking quite strong on charts. So it will be more of a stock specific trade. The stocks which I'm speaking are yet to give a breakout. So I think that opportunity can be there. So most of the stocks are already rallied, and even in today's market, when the market has corrected, these stocks are still showing this trend. So I think maybe in this coming trading session, this should be the counters where the outperformance should be there.
Okay, fair point. Let me also pull up NBFC space. We have discussed a few of them, like the brokerage related stocks. What about these names like IFL Finance, Repco Home Finance, Muthoot Capital? We are looking at Fed Bank Financial Services. The entire space seems to be in focus yet again. Is this looking interesting to you, the NBFC basket?
Yeah, definitely. Because see, I think there is a strength in the Manappuram. So, but I think that stock is in the band list. But still, the counter looks quite strong, positive. Chola and Shriram are the two bets where I think that's again opportunity. The easily 5-10% kind of a momentum trade is there in this space. So we are having a fresh call on the Shriram. And to some extent, we are also betting for the Chola. Not too much on the very directional trend, but then definitely for the current week there is a training opportunity in this space.
Okay, fair point. So that's the view on the NBFC basket again. Let me just pull up a few names for all our viewers to really see where the momentum is, being generated at this point. Let me also pull up for all our viewers some of the names that we can see within the metals basket as well. There is some momentum. Brijesh, this has been a very, very volatile story. A lot also depends on what happens globally. Anything afresh are you tracking on metals? Maybe a Vedanta, Hindalco, Tata Steel for that matter. How are you looking at all of these names right now?
I think there's only one stock which I think still the opportunity is the APL Apollo Tubes. So that is the only one counter which I think it is a safe bet, irrespective of whatever the sector does. This stock has stand on its own. So even if the sector doesn't move, maybe tomorrow there is a profit booking, this one stock can remain strong. So APL Apollo is something which I do like, and from the technically weekly or monthly structure, it's very strong. So that opportunity is there in APL Apollo tubes.
Okay, got that. I hope this has also helped you out, viewers, in terms of what you should be really doing with the stock, the key stocks in this space as well. But what is your approach on IT? And would you again look at it afresh after 2.5% downtick that we have seen today? There was peak pessimism on IT space, but things started to improve during the earnings. We saw a lot of large cap, heavyweight IT stocks also outperform the broader market. The mid cap IT names, like Coforge, Persistent also came back in flavor. Right now, we were just talking about the mid cap IT space, specialized focus, the likes of Verso Solutions, Tanla, all of these stocks as well. But fresh approach on IT, or especially on the large caps like TCS, Infosys, HCL Tech, Wipro, what is that?
So basically, we are having a four stocks in the IT space, which we are quite bullish. And one is the HCL Tech. We have very strong understanding that this stock will keep moving higher. So today, after the correction, I think it's a beautiful level to re-enter. Then comes the Coforge, Wipro, and then the Tech Mahindra. So these are the four counters where we are quite bullish, and not too much of a directional trend, but then definitely this will keep moving during this because IT sector is looking quite strong for the bounce back kind of a trade. So there is an opportunity in this space. I'll repeat it again: HCL Tech, Coach, Tech Mahindra, and Wipro.
ठीक है. We will definitely make that list for all our viewers, and I hope all of you have also noted it down and keep that in mind when you look at the IT names there. Let's also discuss auto pack at large. Brijesh, what's your fresh approach on the auto space? Today it's down by about 1%, but of late we were looking at a fresh wave of momentum returning with slower tariffs on auto pack, lower tariffs on auto pack, and of course things improving on India UK deal, US UK deal as well. So a lot of exporters were coming back in focus. Are you also positive on some of the names? What about Tata Motors also, if you could highlight?
So specifically Tata Motors, there can be some sell-off. Maybe recently we had seen a good bounce in the stock, but then the more focus is on the two-wheelers. I think the numbers for the Motocorp has come. It looks okay on charts, and from the level of this 4,050, I think there should be another 200 odd points kind of a bounce in the Hero Motocorp. Fresh trade setup is coming in the Bajaj Auto. So, and we are suggesting Bajaj Auto as one of the pick for the next 3-4 days. There's a good opportunity from the 8,000 level. I think this stock can go back to 8,500. So, one of a trading opportunity in the Bajaj and the Hero. Both stocks, like two-wheeler space is something which is gaining confidence. So, we'll be betting more on this segment.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the auto pack is concerned. Let me also just pull up for our viewers some of the other stocks. Like let's discuss the ones that are down in the red but have been a lot in momentum of late. Swiggy versus Zomato. Now, what has happened with Swiggy today? You saw a sharp reaction downward because of the anchor lock-in period ending, and that has led to a fresh wave of stocks getting released into the market, and therefore we saw that initial dip. The good part is that the dip has been bought into. Stock is back above 300 mark. 310 is what it is being seen at the end of the session today, also just down by about 3% now. Let's look at Eternal, Zomato. Among the top losers today, 3.5% lower, but the stock has been struggling. Every time it goes back to 200, 205 odd levels, it bounces back, but is unable to cross 240, 245 kind of a hurdle. Let's ask Brijesh, what is the ideal approach that one should have between Swiggy and Zomato? Brijesh.
So from the charts point of view, we are waiting for the Zomato. As you rightly said, 240 to 45 level. This is the level where the Zomato, which is internal, is facing some resistance. But I think the structure from the larger degree is positive in this space, and I have a understanding that this level of 245 to 50, which is the immediate resistance, will be taken out. So we are positive, and we are telling people to keep buying within this range, like this 225 to 210 to 15, this range. One has to keep buying the stock, and I think once we see this breakout about 245 level, this can immediately move another 40-50 points on the higher side. So we are having a buy trade setup. Right now, it is in the consideration. We are saying that one should keep accumulating at the current price. Swiggy specifically, there is no chart structure. I think it's making a lower low, and we have been not so bullish on the Swiggy. So I won't make any fresh entry in this stock. If somebody is having a position, just keep holding it. If there is some opportunity, some bounce back, then one can look to shuffle the position in this Swiggy.
Okay, fair point. Hopefully that has really guided you better on the front. 5-6 minutes remaining, Brijesh. Let's come down to preparing our strategies for the rest of the days in the week, and of course for this series as a whole as well. How would you really approach Nifty versus Nifty Bank now?
So I think there is more strength in the Nifty. So we are initiating a trade in the Nifty. So the maximum correction has already said to 24,500, which is hardly any 60, 50, 60 points on the current level. So somebody who is willing to take that risk of that 60, 70 points, not precisely 24,500, maybe 10 points plus and minus. One should take that as a risk factor, and one should take. I'm willing to take the buy trade setup because I believe during this, the writers at the 25,000 level was shifting their positions. But eventually, with today's correction, they are again at 25,000. That is, call writers are active. But the larger data suggests that that data might get shipped. So suddenly there was a shift in data from 25,000 to 25,200. So I believe that sooner or later we should be heading for 25,000 on the Nifty. That's an immediate view, but from the directional point of view, I believe we should be heading for 25,500 also. So sorry, since my directional view is positive, this correction of this 350 odd points, I will be looking this as a buying opportunity.
Okay, so we could be actually heading higher is what Brijesh clearly believes. 25,000 and then thereon 25,500 could also be in sight is something that he's penciling on. Let me ask you a little bit more. When you look at beyond these levels as well, what are the chances that you're penciling in, Brijesh, that we could actually retest our previous highs of 26,277 on the Nifty as well? And how long do you think that could take?
Maybe for this series, it is quite little bit difficult
No,
because
yes, for sure.
yeah, so I think from the current, the way the market has seen recovery, 24,000 has been a very decent support, and then 26 may act as a resistance. So currently there is no triggers which suggest that this level might get broken. So it can be a more of a pullback rally for the Nifty. So 26 might act as a very stiff resistance. So and that is more of a monthly view for the May series. So that is what I'm betting on from the level of 24,500. we are just waiting for another 1,000 odd points. So, and right now, if you ask me whether the market will make a new high, so I'm not very clear, and I don't think right now there is any, because if we also need to understand the India VIX, which is at 18 level. The volatility is such a high, so even that is not giving any comfort.
Okay. Lastly, Brijesh, we'll just ask you for this week and for tomorrow, any BTST ideas?
Yeah. Just keeping a watch on the CG Power. This is one of the stock during the entire day. The stock has not corrected, and I think there's a good opportunity in the CG Power. So the level of 650, we can see another 20-25 points kind of a move in the CG Power. So that's one bet. And second bet, which we are extremely positive, is a trend. So yesterday there was quite a good move in the trend, and today it has been correcting. So I think today's correction can also be a buying opportunity. 50, 200 would be the stop loss, and 5600, 5600 can be the possible upside for the trend.
Okay, fair point. Thank you so much then, Brijesh, for being with us on the show and highlighting all of these strategies for our viewers. Appreciate your time and your suggestion on key stock ideas that you've shared. BTST, call, CG Power and Trend. We'll keep that in mind, and several other pockets that you've highlighted for our viewers. Time to wrap up the markets. 2 minutes to go. Let's start winding up. 339 points lower on the Nifty. We've slipped below 24,600. We're at 24,588 at this point in time, with PSU banks, pharma and also broader markets, mid and small caps. Only these 4 to 5 sectors that are up and about, rest of the pockets have slipped. IT space is down in trade, almost 2% lower. You can see almost 2.5% lower. And let's look at FMCG, that's down 1.5%. Financial services, autos, private banks, realty, all of that is also under pressure. BEL continues to be up 4% higher. HAL continues to be up 3.8% higher. Jio Financial Services, Hero, Moto, Dr. Reddy's, these are the top movers on the Nifty. The Nifty itself is down by about 1.3%. Top losers, Infosys, HCL Tech, TCS, Power Grid and Eternal are the top losers at this point. Let's look at the Nifty next 50 names. Again, like I pointed, Canara Bank, Bank of Baroda, Punjab National Bank, some of these PSU banks are making sense as far as the Nifty next 50 names are concerned. You also have names like Divis Laboratories, ICICI Lombard, Adani Energy, Avenue Supermart, some of them also moving up. Banks, you have NBFCs as a clear focus, with Edelweiss Financial Services. The broking houses 7% higher. Dhani Services, Muthoot Capital, IIFL Finance 4% up, Repco Home Finance, Spandana Spurti, Fed Bank Financial Services, Nuvama also. The entire NBFC pack is coming back in flavor along with the PSU banks. So it's private banks that are down in the red. HDFC and ICICI pulling down the markets and checking the trade for the Nifty. It's 24,593 at 3:30 p.m. That's how it has settled, and we'll wrap it up at that. But do stay tuned, viewers, onto Business Today Television as we continue to get you all the updates from the world of business and economics, and of course markets as well. There's a lot more for you to catch up right now. We have seen after yesterday's rally some kind of a blip on the markets, some profit booking also being taken place. There are fresh waves of concerns emerging on whether the ceasefire is a finality or is there going to be a continued vigil that we need to keep an eye out on that. And secondly, on the trade talks, what's going to be happening between US and India is another question. We will continue to also track the earnings for you and keep updating all of that for all of you on Business Today. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere.
With these powerful words from the legendary poet Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, Air Marshal A.K. Bharti set the tone. Firm, fierce.